The old 33 touch plan that we're all familiar with isn't wrong, it's just not enough anymore. For a long time, agents were taught to make a certain amount of calls and texts, emails, all to your database, past clients, your sphere, mail postcards, and invite clients to event. Listen, nothing's wrong with that. The goal was simple. Stay in touch enough so that people remember you when real estate came up. And that still matters. But here's what changed. People don't only get to know you through a call, text, or email now. I think at this point, you all know social media plays a big part to this. And people start their decision process a lot earlier because of it. They watch your videos, they see what you care about, they notice who you help, they see the businesses you support and the people you encourage, and how you explain the market. And those moments all matter put together. So I think the old 33 touch needs to be 100 touches. And yeah, you're like, Tristan, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, 100 touches. I'm Tristan Ahumada. This is Your Daily Real Estate. It's a podcast. It's a show where we talk about what's actually working in real estate right now. And sometimes I throw in things that'll help you personally. And today I want to help you build a nurture plan that makes sense for the world that we actually live in. Not a plan where you bug people 100 times, which I still see happening, especially now with people building out these plans that are massive through AI and they have no authenticity. So, not a plan where you ask for referrals every other week. A plan that gives you 100 reasons to remember you, trust you, and call you when real estate becomes part of their life because of you. And I don't know if you remember this, but there used to be an old rule, the rule of 7. And that was very famous in the marketing world a few years back. The idea was that people needed to hear your message around 7 times before they remembered it. But back then, there were fewer ads, fewer emails, fewer things fighting for your attention, for people's attention. Now, people wake up to a phone call of messages, DMs, notifications, text, emails, news alerts, videos, ads, posts, geez, you name it. And the challenge is that all happens before you even have your coffee, if you have coffee. So 7 touches today can disappear pretty fast. They're going to get buried. And even 33 touches can disappear, especially, now I'm not saying they won't work, especially if they don't have that sincerity to it. And that's why you can't just count on this type of activity anymore. You've got to think about nurturing. What does that actually mean? And here's the difference. A touch isn't just something you send. A touch is something a person receives, sees, or feels, or even experiences that help this relationship that's happening. And it feels like it's one-sided, but it's happening out there and attracting them to you. And that could be a phone call. It could be a text. It can even be an email that's actually read. And emails are amazing. But it could also be a video that they watch every week from you. It could be commenting on something important in their life. It could be an invitation to an event. And it could be a handwritten note after their kids graduate, after they buy a home, or when something big happens in their life. The point is this: people don't remember how many times you marketed to them. They remember how you made them feel and whether you were useful when it mattered. And that's why your social media needs to be part of that whole plan. Not because every post counts as a touch. It really doesn't. It goes deeper than that. If someone never sees your post, it didn't touch them. If they never open the email or they just never check that voicemail, it won't matter. But if they regularly watch your videos, they see your stories, they read your thoughts in the form of an email or interact with you online through DMs or even in the comments, that becomes part of the relationship. And you've watched me do this, building lab coat agents over the last 12 years. You're staying familiar. You're staying relevant. You're reminding them that you understand real estate. You understand your community and you're someone they can trust because you're human. You have things that you love too, like gardening or canoeing, or you love cats because you've got a whole bunch of them. That's nurturing. You see, that changes because you add this human piece to it. And when you add social media to the calls, texts, and emails and events, personal moments, those 33 touches become 100 easily. Now, yes, I'm talking about 100 touches in a year. But if you think about that, when you blend in social, it really isn't that much. We have 365 days, and that's every 3 days. You got to do something that's connecting with this bigger database that you have. Now, before we go further, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you're listening, make sure to just tune in for the next one, download them. It always helps us out. Tune in, it'll remind you of the next one that comes out. And I try to do these daily. So if you're trying to build a better business without losing the human side of it, you'll definitely want to hear these conversations. Now, I want to give you a simple test. Before you count something as a meaningful touch, ask yourself 4 questions. Did this person actually receive or experience it? Was it relevant to their life, their home, their community, or their future plans? Did it help them understand something, solve something, avoid something, or discover something useful, which I do in a lot of cases? And did it make the relationship stronger? It doesn't have to hit all 4 every time. And sometimes it never hits all 4. But if you do this well, you'll hit 2 or 3 at a time. And it should do more than just scream, remember, I sell real estate. I personally just don't like that. I don't think people appreciate that either. Here, I'll give you an example. A text that says, hey, just checking in. Do you know anyone buying or selling? Probably isn't building very much. It's spam. But a text that says, hey, I saw that insurance costs are becoming a bigger issue for homeowners, specifically in our area. So I made a short video about what people should ask before they renew, and I'll send it over to you. Here it is. That's very different. That hits home for me as a homeowner, specifically in Southern California, where there are a lot of fires and we're going through that whole insurance situation. You're still showing them what you do, but you're leading with help, right? That's the value piece. And that's the key. I like to think about the 100 touch plan as it's like a 90-10 plan. 90% of your touches should give value, should give help. 10% can ask for action. And there's nothing wrong with asking. It's just most of the time we've got it reversed, right? 90% of the time we're asking, 10% of the time we're giving. So the 90% should educate, protect, connect, encourage, or create an experience. That's what I love to make people feel. What's the experience I'm going through right now? Oh, it's education. I love this. Oh, this is fun. I didn't know that. I can go hiking there. There are things happening in my community I should pay attention to. It looks fun. I could take my family. I could take my dog. Now, the other 10% can be a clear invitation. Would you like me to run a value report for your home? Have you given any thought to moving this year? Right? Pretty easy. Do you know anyone who needs help in another city? That's a common one. Want to grab coffee and talk through what's happening in the market? These are very direct. They're very business oriented, and that balance matters. See, if every touch asks for business, people pull away. If you never ask, people may think that you really don't need the business. And I know that sounds weird, but believe me, it's happened to me. So you need to earn the right to ask by being helpful first. And I wanted to change the verbiage that I use here because I tend to gravitate to saying, hey, value first, but it doesn't always translate to what that means. So being helpful first. How can you help people? Who can you help today? Right? Now, here are 8 ways to build your 100 touches. And we're going to be talking about ways to do it this week anyway. But first, personal touches. Calls, texts, voice messages, birthday notes, congratulations, and written cards. Second, email touches, a helpful newsletter, a quick market update, a homeowner tip, or something useful happening locally. And listen, in this little section of number 2, believe it or not, and some of you may laugh at this, but sending them a recipe card, and I've seen these, right? Depends on your audience. Those actually work in some audiences, not every audience. Third, social media content, videos, posts, stories, market advice, community updates, and the things you're learning along the way. Fourth, social engagement. That means replying to stories, commenting, congratulating people, and starting real conversations online because that's where conversations start. Fifth, real estate guidance, home values, neighborhood sales, insurance changes, repair advice, property taxes, and market explanations. That's a big one. People need your interpretation of what's happening in this current world. Sixth, community touches, local businesses, events, schools, restaurants, charities, and people they should know or places they should go, right? Which is seventh, experience touches, coffee, client events, open houses, local meetups, classes, or anything that gets people together because at the end of the day, it's all about the community, right? And eighth, opportunity touches, the times when you clearly let people know that you can help. Now, you don't need to do all of that every month for every person. And you definitely shouldn't treat everyone in your database the exact same way. It just won't work. A past client who refers you business should get more personal attention than someone who just downloaded your guide for buying in 3 years or first time buyer in Malibu or whatever it looks like. A first time buyer needs different information than a homeowner who thinks about downsizing. Someone who watches every video you post may need a personal phone call. Be like, hey, do you want to talk? Someone who never responds to texts might stay in your email and social media nurture until they engage. And that's happened to us many times. But the person tells you what kind of touch makes sense. In fact, if you're paying attention to the details, they're telling you by really not saying anything, just in their actions. Now, here's how I'd start this over the next 30 days, the next 45 days. Pick 25 people from your database, not your whole database of 1,000 or 500, just 25 people that you would genuinely like to know better. People that you get along with, right? People that you want to help or just reconnect with. Give each person 4 touches during the next month. That's it, just 4 each of these. One personal touch, a call, a text, voice message, or a note. One helpful touch, something about their home, their market, their community, or their life. One social touch. Watch what they're doing online, comment, reply, send something useful, or engage in a real way, right? The whole LCM process that I push. And one invitation, coffee, an event, a home review, a conversation, whatever makes sense. 25 people times 4 touches gives you 100 touches in 30 days. That doesn't mean you'll always need to do 100 a month. It means you're building the habit of thinking beyond a generic 33 touch plan. Now, when I'm saying 100, I would say 100 to your core people just to test it out. And then to the rest of them, you got 100 in a year. That's to the database that doesn't respond. You're touching them in some way, right? They're seeing you, you're creating content. They may or may not see it, but it's 100 touches. And you better believe that a lot of these people are going to see what you're putting out, even if it's just one piece. But you're learning who actually responds. You're learning what people care about. And that's key because that's how you start building relationships and you can map these out instead of just checking in your inbox. Did somebody respond? Right? At the end of the month, look at the results. Who answered? Who started a real conversation? Who asked for help? Right? When you ask, hey, do you need help? Who mentioned a move? Who referred somebody? But you're going to start seeing that the connections start happening. And that's at the end of the day, the goal, right? You need to connect with people to build these strong relationships. So remember, the rule of 7, dead. The 33 touch plan was a good starting point. But today, real nurturing, the way it's supposed to build relationships in a world where AI is giving us all this information and we're getting bombarded, it's a 100 touch plan. It's not 100 sales pitches. It's 100 reasons for people to trust you. Anyway, please subscribe, share this with somebody you think may need this. Have an awesome day.